My name is Noam, and I'm going to be speaking to you tonight about that words matter, the content of words matter, and critical thinking matters. So 2 incidents that I recently encountered served as a trigger for this talk that I composed. The first one, I was watching a political event, and I saw a young woman. She got up at the podium, and she spoke some sweet but very politically correct statements that were, I have to say, quite superficial, and even to some extent incoherent. But not just that, what she was implying was also untrue. First, human rights, women's rights, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, due process are not even close to being the same across the globe. But to my surprise, even I would say dismay, maybe I even protest, I'm thinking, what? Does the content of words have no meaning anymore? So that was the first incident. The second one was, a few months back, someone threw around the statement that 93% of communication is nonverbal. It's based on a research from the 70s that says that 55% of communication is body language and 38% is vocal tone. There's only one problem. It's not true. The study was based on an experiment where people said just one single word, and that word was like thanks and maybe. And in that single context, that one word in that context, sometimes facial and vocal can outweigh the actual meaning of the word. But that study was never meant for public speaking, even though it's often quoted as that. So words matter and critical thinking matter. Let's think about it for a moment. Has anyone been to a foreign country where they speak a foreign language?
Here.
Right? So obviously you'll know that if you're in such a situation, you cannot get 93% of the content just by looking at body language and listening to the voice. When I was researching this topic, and this was interesting, I came across someone with 40 years of experience in journalism and international marketing communication. And he wrote in his blog that Toastmasters, apropos, devotes the first 4 chapters of the beginner's manual to organizing the speech itself, including, and this was interesting, a chapter specifically on the importance of words in conveying meaning. Only in chapters 5 and 6 does it discuss body language and vocal variety. Who won the Nobel Prize in Literature for brilliant oratory, i.e. public speaking? The Nobel Prize in Literature, 1953, was awarded to Sir Winston Churchill for brilliant oratory in defending exalted human values. Many of his greatest speeches were delivered over the radio in a time that preceded television, so there was no visual communication. 3,500 years ago, one of the most important speeches of Western civilization was delivered that contained the timeless words, "Let my people go." That message and those profound words would inspire men and women thousands of years later, from the American Civil Rights to the freeing of Soviet Jewry. My call to action: don't be seduced by pretty words if they are superficial. Profound words and content matters. Don't be afraid to be a counter voice to groupthink when it doesn't stand up to common sense and critical thinking. So let me leave you with one last final quote, appropriately for Winston Churchill, about the truth. The truth, he said, is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is. Thank you very much.